Hello.
Hello, everybody.
I'll do a bit of sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. I will be. That's it. I hope everyone's well. If there's anyone watching already, say hello in comments.
Yeah. Well, I'm watching.
Hello, Vicky.
Hello.
We've just been talking about how you can be washing his hair. And look, I mean, I've washed my hair, just washed my hair, totally out of control. Can't do a thing with it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, well, same as mine. I'll have to put curls in it later.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
That's it, isn't it? That's what the wife said when she washed the car when she had a crash. I couldn't do that with it.
Couldn't run out with it.
Oh dear.
And there we go. We're on. Comments is working because.
Hello, John.
Yeah, hello. Just hello. Yeah, that's just a strange colour for a drink, isn't it? So yeah, just on a separate subject, there's been a lot of solar activity, and 3 days before the earthquake in the near Russia, the geophysicist I watch, he said 3 days before, he went, "There's going to be a mega quake in this area because it all stacks up, big solar flares, sun stream, energy streams, and then there were, and now there's a big volcano there, as well. So,
well, don't get me wrong when I say this. People like myself, and probably you as well, it's been knocking me sideways.
Well, yeah, that's what that chap says as well. The effects on human body from all that energy, it's a definite thing. It's measurable. Yeah,
it affects between the top of your brain, all right, on your skull. It affects people like myself and, well, most people. But
I can feel it. Yeah,
it also heightens the vibrations as well.
Right.
That might be why I can't sleep.
And that because it takes over, because the vibration between the spirit world and the normal world are very unbalanced. But most of the time, if you calm yourself, you can link in. But when you get what they call skip or ultraviolet, and they're all over the place, what it does, it does whack your brain. And it makes it harder for you to link in. But you tend to pick up more vibrations from not just the spirit world, but the higher side as well. So you tend to see more guides, workers, inspirers, and some people see angels as well. It's rather like the Gloria Aurora, as I like to describe it. You can't. There's some places you can see it, some places you can't. So when you get these natural disasters, the vibrations of the earth affect us all. All right, it's rather like a mother giving birth. When she's stressed giving birth, the baby's stressed. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
And so when Mother Earth gives off vibrations, most people go about their daily business and don't know why they've got a headache or a migraine or why their husband's grumpy or whatever. You could try to say, "Oh no, it's just coincidence," blah blah blah. But then people that know.
Yeah.
Because if you're in tune with, it's rather like listening to a song. That come from 1967. You would know when you hear it. You think so when you know what the symptoms are of Mother Earth or the cold or whatever. You know what's going on. But if you don't know, then you just put it down to coincidence. Oh no, I'm off to see the doctor. And you'll probably end up giving you a placebo. you know.
Mm.
But there are people at the minute, there are chemists selling out of migraine medication.
Right. Yeah. So I
You
mean,
know,
all that as well. It makes more sense than some people may think. Oh, it's that hippie way of thinking or whatever, but it ain't. It's actually very scientific, and the planet has got its own vibration. And when they first sent people into space, they realized the bodies just started to basically starting to die. So, and then they realized when humans aren't in that Schumann resonance at Earth, that frequency, we don't like it. Your body don't like it. We're supposed to be there. So they've actually got resonators, and I've actually got one. They've got resonators to resonate at that frequency on the space vehicles. And that. Yeah,
they've got one at the space station as well. I know what you mean. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it's like when people talk about ley lines as a possible thing. I've looked into that, and they've measured paths of at least resistance in UK.
Yeah.
And then there's a thing called telluric currents, which is a natural energy in ground.
Mm.
And it only makes sense they're going to travel faster and more down those paths of least resistance.
Yeah.
That's your ley lines in effect. This is all real stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
It's the same with whales and ultrasonic sounds.
Mm.
You know, they have their own way of communicating across thousands of miles. You know, and I believe that dolphins are much the same, although I haven't looked into that like I should have done. People say that dolphins can communicate with people, but I don't know about that. But I do know that there are people who, can I say, they seem to be eccentric. They seem to be more I'll try and get the bloody word out of me. They seem to be more sympathetic for sound. Is not the word I'm looking for. But they can accept sound more, and they can pick them up more. But from what I understand, depending on what kind of culture you are, there are some cultures that completely lost it. You know, and I was talking to someone from Russia the other day, and he's from some ethnic background, from Afghanistan or some bloody way like that. He's going back years, and his culture was living off the land, and living on the vibrations, and although he's very modernized, he was talking about how when he goes home, he feels at home, but when he's in Moscow or wherever he is, he feels totally out of. But he's some kind of scientific officer for some culture studies about how to make places more pleasant to live in, if you know what I mean, surroundings. And you say you're taking a melting pot and you're trying to make one area amenable for all. You know, like one person might feel at peace and the other one might feel a bit frightened. You know, how can you get two totally different scientific people or feelings in the same place? It's like you've got to ask 100 people what you think of a painting. You get 100 different answers.
Yeah.
There are places in the UK that are more that pick up more vibrations, and I know people that have gone down to Stonehenge and you know, it's just a place, isn't it? Well, no, it's not. because I can pick up stuff down there. Yeah, but yeah, what you know,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
the people aren't in tune. They seem to have lost it. You
yeah.
know. But I
And
went down there with a Mayan Indian, right, and he was quite at home with himself, but he wasn't from that culture.
yeah,
And I said, he said, well, they're stones. They talk to me. And like, I was totally amused. You know, like, you what? They
yeah,
talk. Oh, yeah, the stones talk to me, and they have vibration. I mean, everything everything vibrates. We know that. Everything has a vibration. Even stone has vibrates. And it's a stone tape theory, isn't it? You know, that's what they pick up. And from that vibration, he's let's say he's a stone medium. He can pick up things from stone. And I don't mean that as in he can see where it comes from. It talks with and vibrations. And you were saying that once that this earth, he was talking about the earth was very troubled, and but he could have been talking about anything. But what he was saying about the alignment of the north and south and this and that, he could have read it before, but why would he? He'd only been there a few days,
yeah,
and some of the stuff he was talking about actually made me sit and listen, you know. And I think everything vibrates, and I think if you're like the volcanoes, like celestial showers and all that kind of thing. I think if you're um, if you can pick up susceptible to vibrations like that, then you will pick them up.
yeah,
Like
yeah, definitely.
people from Russia and Turkey or wherever you're going, all these floods. But the trouble is, you try telling the people at the top about this, that, and the other, and they'll look at you and think, no,
No.
we can't
Yeah.
start punishing people. We can't start doing this, and we can't, So I think there are people at the top that are scared of upsetting the apple cart and frightening people.
Yeah,
You know?
what you were saying there, where everything's different for everyone. Hi, Noreen. Hi, Nicola. For instance, there's a curry house near us, and
Yeah.
I could take friends there. One off will go, I'm not keen because it's very dark inside. It's dark inside. I enjoy it because it's dark inside.
Yeah.
There's some people what would be great when they go to the beach. Me, I like being on top of an hill. I like great big views. I'm not one for being on beach. I like big views, mountains, stuff like that. And it's nothing in particular. It's just I prefer dark spaces. I prefer like isolated, like mountain tops, where some people enjoy actually being in a mall full of people. Yeah. My idea of hell, but but it's different. Everyone's got a different take on it, haven't they? And also, I know what you mean with that. When you go into a place, I often just thought, oh, it's something we can't. I thought it was normal, but I go into a place, I'm like, something bad's happened here, and I just it just says that in my head. And it took a while to realise, wait, not everyone thinks this, because I got people saying, well, why did you say that? I mean, I don't know. It just feels a bit. I don't know. Something feels a bit off. You can tell something's a bit wrong, right? And when you go into like myself, I don't like overly lit places. Really white, chrome, really bright light. I go in and I'm like, oh no, it kind of oppresses me. So it's like, everyone's different. Some people love that as well. So it's I know what you mean with that, definitely.
There's times I've been laid on the cliffs at night, on a warm night, and it's been an absolute clear night, I mean, I'd probably been, I'd my tent with me and my sleeping bag, and I just lay out looking at the stars, and you actually feel like you're falling into it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, when you lie there, you think, whoa, you know, but it's a lovely feeling. It's a feeling of freedom.
Yeah.
I was talking about thought patterns, and thoughts are alive. You know, how many times have you thought something and it's happened, or you thought about it and it turned up? Some years ago, this really happened. I was talking to someone and he said, I wish I had 33,000 quid. I could pay my mortgage off and I'd be mortgage free. And that's all he kept saying. You know, for about 6 months, I wish I had £33,000. I could pay my mortgage off. And one day, his dad died. Left him 33,000 quid.
It's
frightening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Frightening. You know.
It is like when my granddaughter, I let her on my phone, and she spent all my money. I had £40 in the bank. That's all I had. And that had to last me virtually all week, and I didn't have nothing. So I was worried sick where it was going to come from. And on my granddaughter's life, I was going to work the following morning, and I found £40 in £1 coins and £2 coins on the way to work. Not a penny more, not a penny less. I actually went to work, my pockets were full. As I was walking to work, I'm picking them up as I'm walking to work.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
That was mad.
I think
there is somebody looking out for you somewhere. You, like you said, Fort Farms, you manifest it, don't you?
I think the biggest coincidence in my life, you know, it's a bit unbelievable, but it really happened. Because I've got the pictures to prove it, but anyway, that's beside the point. When I was in the military, we were decided we wanted to go and spend some time in America, so we got an indulgence flight to America. And this guy wanted to go and see the gambling capital of the world, Las Vegas. So anyway, we ended up in Las Vegas, and this guy wanted to go and see Elvis, right? So here we are outside the Hilton, no ticket, nothing. And I said, well, I'd love to go and see it, but, you know, just can't get in. 2 minutes later, in rolls this great big black car, and who got out of it? Elvis himself. And there we are. I've got the photographs to prove it. Sign the autographs I'm looking at as I'm across the room from me, you know. And I've got a signed scarf and all, you know, and a lock of his hair. It's unbelievable. But that really happened. And we were just stood there talking about him, you know, and then boom, here's his black caddy, and he gets out. You guys are an army, you know. There you go.
Yeah. Right.
So it's coincidence, it happens. But why? I don't know. It's all about vibration, isn't it? And the mind, you know. And I do believe that the thoughts are alive. Yeah. And people will pick them up. You know, I mean, you could say that Elvis was a big religious man, and he was probably picking up. Well, whatever you believe, you know, whatever you believe. I care to believe in my way that thoughts are alive, and he was picking up. That's me. But it's too many times people have thought something and it happened.
Yep.
You know, I do believe that there are people that are put on this earth to take away your beliefs, take away your self-respect. And I do believe now that there are people in this earth, on this earth plane, that are from the dark side, that are trying to take away the peace and the tranquility that we've got, and ruin that. And I'm not going to go into it, and I'm not going to, people say you're crazy, you're this, that, but how is it people can say, well, when I get into power, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, and I'm completely opposite.
Yeah, you know? I've often said that, because during certain events or things happening, I'll talk about them, and thanks, Phil. I'll talk about them, and then people will go, "Well, this isn't paranormal related." And I went, "Well, actually, it is, because if you look at what certain people or certain systems do, it's demonic activity." And when I said
it is demonic activity, it's exactly what it is.
Yeah, because it's never working for any good whatsoever. It
No,
works
it's not.
to destroy.
No, I agree.
And make things worse. So, and then in my mind, when you look at actions of people and systems of people, if you understand demonic activity and how demons work, you look at them and you can see how they work. Yeah, you know what you're looking at. It's plainly obvious. And it's, I can't believe how in the last 6 years, I think it's got a lot more obvious as well. You just look at what these the and you go, the
darkness is definitely more prevalent now than it's been in a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. I'm not going to start talking about demons and stuff like that, frightening people, but the darkness, the negativity in people, like, people in power, whether or not money's the root of all evil, whether you like it or not, whether you believe that or not, people will, why, I'm not going to start getting political, but why is the political situation like it is? Why are people turning this country upside down? What is the benefit to the country? What is the benefit to the world? It's destabilization, isn't it? That's what it's about. And when you get destabilization, you get darkness, you get unrest.
And it can be just as simple as, if I cause a problem and then show you an answer, you'll all come to me. And that is one of the most ancient, like, opposition moves to God, however you want to think about that. That is one of the most ancient rooted opposition plays ever played. If I cause a problem, show you I've got the answer, you will come to me. And that is, that's your like root move, isn't it? Noreen's
when you start talking about this religion, that religion, or whatever, different beliefs, once you start bringing more in and unstable the country, whatever country that is, when you start bringing people in, people will start to fight back like they are now, and there will only ever be one winner. The Lord will always make his mark, or the angels, whatever you want to call it. Right will always fight for right, and darkness will never win. But the process that people go through, they are enticed by darkness. They're enticed by fortune, they get drunk on shall we say, on power. And once the people, people that have grown up with money know that it's not a problem, but people that get £1 million overnight, they don't know what to do with it. And I think that's something, when you start talking about people, and I'm not going to get political here, but when you start talking about people that have defended people that have been, let's say, offenders, like sort of Jimmy Savile and people like that have defended them and known about it. And I'm not saying anyone's covered anything up, but you begin to wonder what the motivation of things. How is it that people like him could get away with it? And why? That is something. When it's in governments, you know, it's on a grander scale.
Mm.
You know, when you've got people that are destabilizing areas of the earth, digging them up and these ritual sites, you know, that was once a church, and then you get these devil worshippers in them and things like that. You know, it's destabilizing it, and it takes a light, and it's a darkness. And then people like you and I have to come around and put that right again. But the armies of the world, the armies starts with people talking, and you can't stop people talking because, you know, there is a spirit world, and the spirits don't want people to be silenced, and they won't be silenced. You know, people will always go down the road and think that's not right what he's doing, and they don't know where the thoughts come from. But angels, spirits, workers, guides, whatever you want to call them, will implant these thoughts, and as that thought begins to grow, so they come to the forefront and become soldiers of the cross, and they don't know why, and they don't understand that they're becoming soldiers of the cross. They just know that this is my little mucky, and I'm going to fight for it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But they are actually fighting darkness. They're actually fighting the negativity. You can't tell them like that because they'd say, "Oh, well, no, I'm not religious," but you don't need to be religious. To, you know, and there's people going about religion. I'm not a real religious fanatic. I'm just spiritualist. You know, whatever you want to call it. You know, and I believe that the earth is at a critical time at the minute, and that's why all these things are kicking up. That's why you've got floods. That's why you've got earthquakes. Why you've got this, because the earth's not happy. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Mother Earth isn't happy at the minute. You know, and she's kicking up. And you know, if we don't listen, it'll get worse.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah.
People know this, but the people at the top are so. How much? All that matters is how big your house is and how much dosh you got in the bank. You know, and that's what rules. And again, that's darkness, that negativity, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely.
But that leads you down many routes, because there has to be leaders in this world, but the leaders need to be sympathetic, not just to the white side, but to the dark side as well. Because my mum once said to me, if I was down the road and some man was beating me up, all right, let's say this man was beating me up from another country, she goes, what would you do? I'd go down there and I'd kick his head in. She said, now would that be the white side or would that be the dark side? Hang on. There you go. She said, well, that's the white side using the dark side for its benefit. So, you know, you've got to remember that the devil hasn't been, you know, judged in a court of law. So we have to have that, don't we? We have to have that darkness inside to push forward. But again, we can't let it rule us.
Yeah.
We must rule that.
So at some points in time, you do need it.
Yeah.
You know.
It has to be there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
My mum was a great theologian and things like that. She'd sit and talk about stuff for hours, you know. And when I was a young lad, I think, what a load of old tosh. And now it comes back to me like, sorry, Mum, you know.
Yeah. But, I know what you mean. Definitely.
Well, there are a lot of insights in the dark side.
Yeah.
A lot that you repress. Yeah.
Hi, William. I've just got this. There's this here to read from Noreen. I remember when I was upset with my ex-husband and walking away, I thought, I hope your bloody car goes up in flames. A few days later, I bumped into him and noticed damage on his car. I said, what had happened? He said, I just driving along and the engine went up. I shuddered. I was very careful with my thoughts and words after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've had instances of that, and and just to like back that up with words and thoughts.
Oh, yeah. You have to, be careful. That's why if you sit and you hate somebody for long enough.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter whether it's through jealousy or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
it's bad.
Yeah, the message from, and this is just from this one side. This is just from this one side. Message from Bible says, be careful of that. And also, I remember once talking to someone from an Arab family, and they said, "Oh no, we're very careful what we say. Like they never say, I wish, because you've got to be very careful."
Yeah, I agree.
Because there's different ways for it to come about.
Yeah.
Hi, Robert.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've always thought that, because when I've heard sometimes I made a joke at work. Someone would say, "Oh, I tell you, don't make sure this doesn't happen." I went, "Whoa, be careful what you say."
Yeah.
You don't want to wish it into reality. Just be careful. You know.
Words are curses, aren't they? Yeah.
I spent some time in Oman and in the desert and various places when I was in the military. And what really struck me, I was talking to some Arab gentleman, and he was a gentleman too. He was very westernized, but very proud of his roots. And I was in Oman, and I was part of the military out there. And we sat down one day, and I said to him, "What is it that you say?" And he said, "Like when, you know," he said, "Is it Inshallah?" I said, "What? Yeah, what does it mean? God willing. You know, I'm going to go here, God willing." And I thought, yeah, I can understand that. That really stuck with me. And I don't say Inshallah Allah, but I think sometimes I say God willing. You know, but when I was in the military, I used that term for a very, very, very long time. You know, and it got to where it was beginning to piss people off a bit, you know. So you've got to sort of duck it down a bit. But that doesn't mean to say I don't understand, you know, where it comes from or what it means. And I think the people from that part of the world, like from many parts of the world, they are all very intuitive with religion and things like that. You know, and I thought at the time, being in the military, you know, God willing, I'll get through the day, God willing, inshallah Allah, you know, was something that I thought I like that, because if nothing else, it made me feel good inside, you know, because I'm not saying that I told you in your face that, because, you know, you're 90 days of boredom and 3 minutes of bloody shitting yourself, you know.
Yeah,
but I think every day you can cross the bloody road, you know, and be all right. You could do that every day for 90 years, and then one day you bump, you know, you never know.
Yeah.
So I think that when you find something that comforts you, you know, be it carrying a teddy bear, carrying a silver coin, a cross, whatever, if it makes you feel comfortable, and on the day you go without it and you end up in bloody hospital, you know, because it lowers your vibrations, you know, and that's the day you should have carried it, you know. And so again, thoughts are alive, aren't they? You know, you see the wind, you know, you see the negativity. So when people have got these low vibrations, that's why you've got this, I've got a cold, and I got this, and then I got that, and I got this, and I ended up in hospital. You know, it's all to do with your low vibration. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not going to start going on, but when your vibrations are low, you're susceptible to anything, aren't you? You know?
Yeah,
I do feel, I was talking to someone today, actually, and I'm not going to talk about it, but I think he pops a few pills and uppers and downers and whatever he does. And he's the old boy, he's away with the fairies. You know, I'm not going to knock him. He's away with the fairies, and, you know, he's going to go and be with President Trump. You know, and this, that, and the other, and, you know, well, and you think, But the thing is, like, one minute he's going to go and be with, and then he's having these peaks and troughs. I was running away from the devil, and I said, look, you can't talk to him, because when your vibrations are low, all right, you're allowing the darkness in, into your psyche, So you've got to try and stop taking that over there and stop running away and trying to face what. So you can go to the doctor and they can help to bring you back again, help to build you up again. And he seems to be doing all right at the minute, It's a day-to-day struggle for some people.
Yeah.
And like it is for you, like it is for me,
Yeah, definitely.
Because we struggle every day. You might think you get out of bed and put one foot in front of the other, but every day is a really struggle. Nothing gets any easier,
Yeah, I mean, when I've spoke about it before, but when I had that bout with, it sounds daft, but it was a time of OCDs just creeping in, and I got stuck in it. And I were doing paranormal things at the time, and it's an asylum, which it all makes sense. But when I was struggling with it, after I realised what were going off, what I realised is for about a year, maybe or more, as I were getting tired, I felt things creeping in, and it might have been 7 o'clock at evening, but I just said to the wife, I just went, I'm going to bed because I'm just going to go to sleep, because I knew in morning it don't happen because you've got your natural cortisol and all that.
Yeah.
I realized I could feel it coming on, and then I could like just stop it, from happening. And it's I find it once you've got hold of those triggers or those signs, that's when you can deal with it, kind of thing.
That is where we are at the minute. And I've got a friend who he makes me look like a beginner. He's 90 years old, and he was working for the Grace Commission just after the Second World War. I think he was conscripted just as the war was ending, I think. And he's worked for the Grace Commission. He worked in Israel, and I think his last big one was the Gulf War, I think, but I could be lying about that. And he went off to Burma about 1960, 1970 with the Grace Commission. There were some firefights out there and some junk. I don't know a lot about it. He didn't talk a lot about it, but he said what he did, he puts his tent up, or whatever. They build a mud up, whatever they do, I don't know. And he sits there and he makes a link with the spirit, and he says, they're over there 150 metres, and they walk around and there's nothing there, and he'll say, we're in the area. And then the local, this bloke, come up and said, I think they call them chogies, but I could be lying about that. I ain't got a clue. And he said, I was a little boy, and there they were buried. And I think this is something when you're talking about spirit, when you're talking about being connected, when you're talking about the white side being with you, and I said, that's great. I said, but don't you have times when you feel as though you're being led down a dark alley? He said, yeah, when I go to sleep. I said, when you go to sleep? He said that for every let's say for every good deed he does, right? There's something. What you push, they push back, and what you push, they push back. So for every gain, there has to be a payment. If you get where I'm coming from, that. So I said, is it a game of saving souls? It's a game of. Let's say the fighter pilot didn't know. We went to a fighter base, bomber base, Ludford Magna in Lincoln, near Lincoln. And you've got fighter pilots there and bomber pilots that are still fighting the Second World War. They're dead, you know, because they died instantly. And we were called in to actually do a cleansing, and I had to do an exorcism as well while I was there. This person had been possessed by something, and this one, I think it probably be the Americans as well that took over. I could be lying about that. It was some time ago, and this guy, and he was roaming around, and a couple of people had seen him. You know, you see the flying mask and the helmet and whatever, you know, and what had happened, he'd been shot, but he was so, can I say, so popped up with red eye, whiskey, whatever. He was inebriated on the way back, but I think some night fighter got him or something like that. And although he didn't die instantly, he was wandering around the base, wondering why no one could see him. Some of these what they call Nissenups, you know what I mean by Nissenup, had been used as accommodation. People living in them, you know, they bought them, and they're made into bungalows, prefabs, whatever you want to call them, and we're living in them. And on more than one occasion, this young girl, or young boy, whoever it was, woke up and seen this fighter pilot, whatever, gun crew, whatever, walking through his bedroom. We actually had pictures of him, and I think I've probably still got them somewhere about. And that's what triggered all that. Months and months and months of finding, using various bits of kit, and you know, because it's all right me saying there's something over there. That's just me saying that, but if a bit of kit picks it up as well, you know, independently, then you've got a hit. And so that's what eventually we cleansed the whole building, and then we went to. I think they'd done something with one of the towers, the control tower. Somebody turned it into a house or something somewhere else, and that was another hot spot. You know, again, there was somebody who wanted to experience what it'd be like to be a racing car driver. I went out on one of these race days, you know, with a 2-seater thing. I don't know what it was. One of these before the F1, it looked like Sterling Moss used to drive in one of them. That kind of, something like that, you know. And he went out and he wanted to be Sterling Moss for the day, you know. And he wrote down on a bit of paper before he went that he had a dream that he was in a car and it would turn upside down, and that's what happened.
Wow.
You know, and he survived, but I think from the waist downwards, something happened to his spinal cord and he lost the use of his legs. You know, and I think that's somewhere on the internet. I actually met the bloke, and he showed me the letter, and he asked me. He said, "Why did this come true?" I said, "Because thoughts are alive." You know, so he said, "If I think something," I said, "No." I said, "Various parts of your brain is experimenting. You know, various parts of your brain will send this out, send out." I said, "You've got to find out which bit sends out. You know, it's rather like tuning a radio in." So he's been doing that for years. And I said, what have you been doing? He said, "I've been looking for a wife." I said, all right, yeah. Any success? He said, I just got married. No, that's strange. That really happened, you know. And I said, the minute you started, it took me 18 months to find out the bit. He said, what are you working on now? He said, I'm trying to be a millionaire, but I don't think I'll do it. But why not? Why not?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, so, you've got to vision it.
Pardon?
You've got to vision it as well in your mind, haven't you? You know.
I think everybody's different. I agree with what you're saying, totally. I do feel there are many ways you can see the wind, you know. Everybody's built different emotionally. And pardon me for saying this, but those people that have got emotional problems are more, they are stronger that way than what we are, if you understand what I mean. And I feel children are a lot more open and can create a lot more. And I'm talking to somebody at the minute who, you heard the song "We're Deaf, Dumb and Blind Kid." Well, I'm not saying they're totally deaf and totally dumb, but there's a young lady at the minute who, this is a bit strange because she went in and she went into a shop, right, and said she's going to pick 3 winners. Now we didn't know it was three this, 3 that. So she went in and got 3 lottery tickets. No, and they all lost. And she backed 3 horses, they all lost. And so she went in, she got a lottery ticket one day, and she won. All right. And then she went and backed the horse, she lost. So she tried something else, and she bought another lottery ticket and won. Right. She tried something else, and bought another lottery ticket and won again. So she had 3 wins on the lottery, and it wasn't just £10. I think she won about £10,000 altogether. So there was a 3 wins, you know. But if she'd have bought 3 lottery tickets one after another, like buy one and buy another one and buy another one, or buy 3 together, would she have won? I don't know, you know. But she did win 3 times on the lottery, one after one another. She didn't buy one in between. She bought one, stayed away, bought another one, stayed away, bought another one, and they were all 3 winning. Yeah, and there were, I think the smallest win she had was like £200, and the biggest win was £10,000 that I do know. So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I know it's strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, when it comes to your thoughts, like, you know, when people get an idea of something, when they've come across certain like energies in a place and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, depending on people's personal experiences as well.
Yeah.
Like if someone's been down a dark path and they've come out of it,
yeah,
they've actually got more insight on those things in a way, because they know the triggers, they know the things that got them there in first place. They know the feelings, things like that. So, I mean, sometimes I think that's why we always relate to people what have been there, like the person that's overcome this thing.
Yeah,
the best ones to tell you about it as well. So,
I think I've been in too many dark places in my life, both physically, spiritually, mentally, and by the grace of God, I've always managed to come out. And I think the last time was when I was in hospital fighting for my life, 9 weeks in a coma. You know, I shouldn't have made it, but by the grace of God. But when I was in hospital, because my colon died while I was in hospital, and I had surgery, and that's when I was put into a coma for 9 weeks. I was watching them. I was looking down on myself, and we get a lot of that. So yeah, but there's a card up there from the Queen's Silver Jubilee.
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
And that. Oh no! But anyway, they were cleaning out after COVID, and what did they find? Oh, you must have been there before. What, in the operating theatre? You what? You what?
I always
never
do
happen. It would never happen. No. I just think some people they can't take it. They can't understand it. But one nurse actually said to me, she's seen too many things. She said the doctors, all right, some of them are so centered, I'm a doctor but the nurses, when most nurses have seen something or felt something or know something, and you do get doctors. I mean, that doctor, Miss O'Grady, she was brilliant with me, a surgeon, absolutely brilliant. I couldn't fault her, and she said to me, in her view, it was my faith that brought me back. That was her view, not my view. That was her view of what she said. And I went 5.5 stone when I came out. And I'm 16 stone now. Yeah, 5.5 stone. I am a walking bloody miracle, and that's a fact. But again, you can't tell people, you're just lucky, But what is luck? What is luck? Describe what luck is. You can't describe what luck is.
No.
Because again, we're going back to Mother Earth, and all these signs and symptoms that people pick up. Again, it's Mother Earth, isn't it? She gives off signs. She gives and she takes away.
Yeah, definitely.
Whether people believe me or not, this is the Garden of Eden. It's given by God, and it will be what we make it.
Definitely.
That's my opinion. People don't agree with me, but that's my opinion.
I like that. Definitely.
There's a positive from Noreen.
Yeah, I mean, I think she was talking about, like manifesting things.
Yeah.
Thought. Yeah.
Somebody just something. Something I can't quite read.
I agree with that, Noreen, because that's happened to me many times. I've never actually. Something's always turned up.
Yeah.
Something to get you through it. I've never actually been in such a mess.
Yeah. I mean, what Noreen's saying there is sometimes experience desperate times, thinking if I had a certain amount of money, that would solve the problem. But instead of receiving money and other solutions, man, that's
you don't get what you
definitely I've witnessed that a few times.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes to what Robert said as well, where he goes, I always think money goes to money. Now, interestingly,
I agree with that.
Yeah, because people with money put themselves around other people's with money.
Yeah.
And it has it has this knock-on effect as well.
Yeah.
It's just I know a couple of people in my life where it's like, oh, look at that, it's just blind luck. And you've put yourself in the place to be able to receive an higher chance of receiving that luck.
Yeah.
So it's like you've lessened probabilities of it not happening. You've made it higher probabilities for it to happen, kind of thing. So I mean, but also there was something where I understood luck, and that's when wife was giving birth to daughter, and that there was some, when it's not always just smooth plain sailing, like giving birth.
Agree with that.
And there was this point where the nurse said, "It's just down to luck now," and I went, "Wait, what do you mean luck?" She went, if something doesn't occur with heartbeat and all this, then there's things we're going to do. But we'd rather not do it, and it'd be better if this happened. It's just down to luck. Because and then I saw it, I thought, I know what luck is. I get it. It's we haven't got no control. We've just got the reaction.
Yeah.
But
I agree with that. Yeah.
It solved itself up better. And to me, that's good luck.
Yeah.
Because it could have gone either way at that point, but it didn't. And there were no I could do. There were no wife could do. There were no nurse could do. That's just luck. Because in some cases, it goes the wrong way, and it's a terrible outcome. In some and then in some cases, it doesn't. That is just good or bad.
I agree. I agree. But again, that's down to negativity, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what people believe. You know, you must have done something wrong, or you've done this, or you that. I don't necessarily believe in that. I believe that I believe that there are many ways that spirit can teach you lessons, and they will see how you react. And if you react, you could turn that negative into a positive, if you understand what I mean. I lost a daughter 5-6 years ago. Well, I could have gone either way, but I decided that taught me what empathy is. I turned that negative into a positive. So I can empathize now with people that have lost children. I mean, she wasn't just, you know, a toddler. She was a grown woman. You know. And how she died was, I don't want to talk about that, but it was painful. Painful inside. You're not meant to bury your kids, they're meant to bury you. You know. And turning that negative into a positive helps me. It doesn't stop me missing her and loving her, but it helps me carry that through to help other people to understand.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
There are some people that just want to gloat in misery. Oh, well, look at me, I lost my daughter. Oh, you know, there's nothing you can do about that. But if you can help people to understand, because you've been there, like you said before, I've done that, I've been there myself, blah, 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 then you can empathise, but you can also teach as well.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
you can help take that pain away, you know. And I feel that's a positive. If you can turn the negative into a positive, then you're not taking that pain away. You're helping them to understand, you know, to turn that negative into a positive, so they can live with it, so they can learn from it, so they can help other people. You know, because life teaches you many lessons, not for that minute, but for later life.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
Because how many things have you learned when you were 20 that are coming out now?
Yeah. I know. I get your point. Yeah, that's yeah.
You know.
I've learned a lot.
Right, guys, we've got to 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Right.
But no, it's been great.
I know Mickey's got something on.
Well, thank you for having me again.
No.
You know.
Absolutely.
No, don't forget next week as well, if you want to come and join us for that one.
Well, I'm sorry I waffle on a bit, but that's me.
No, excellent conversation, love it.
You know, I do talk a load of crap sometimes, but that's me.
No.
You know, but thank you for having me. Yeah, I should be all right for next week, but message me over the weekend and I'll confirm it. Okay.
Definitely. Yeah. And thank you for everyone in
who came in.
Comments. Noreen's just saying, I can definitely agree with Mickey that using your painful experiences to help others, and it makes it bearable. So it's absolutely, definitely.
Well, right, next week before we go,
we're
doing the subject's going to be global consciousness. So
global consciousness. Okay.
Yeah. We've kind of touched on that today with planet and how it feels, and it could be going two ways. It makes us feel, but we can also make the planet feel as well.
I agree. I agree. Well, it's Mother Earth, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Without
So-
her, none of us would be here.
No,
No.
Very true.
No,
So
definitely.
let's
Okay.
thank everyone that come in tonight, and please come along and join us next week.
Definitely.
Well,
For now, it's
Thank you,
bye.
everyone.
Okay.
Bye.
All
Bye.
right.